Greetings. My name is Hugh Helms, and this is a story called Wound and Bound. One day when I was 5 or 6, maybe younger, I remember my dad trying to teach me a lesson that I still have not learned to this day. I don't remember how it started, but I got spanked for cleaning a mess. And when I say it like that, it sounds ridiculous. It seemed ridiculous to me at the time. And while I came to understand what my dad was trying to teach me over time, I still haven't fully learned the lesson to this day. See, I don't remember how the mass of string got strewn about the living room in the blue house, whether I unraveled it or whether it was one of my 4 siblings at the time, or perhaps one of the cats, whether one of my parents told me to clean up the mess, or whether I took the task on myself. But I remember my attempt to do the right thing was faulty. And I really could have screwed up. How do you screw up picking up string from the ground? Try wrapping it around your arm. Try winding cord so tight around your limb that your appendages turn a wicked hue of violet. Try cutting off your circulation and risk permanent damage, and watch your father freak as he walks into the room and you attempt to tell him you're trying to help out. And you'll freak a little bit because you have no clue. No clue why the neatly wound string is anyhow worse than how it was laying all about the room. No clue why the look in your father's eyes spell panic as he flips out his pocket knife and yells at you as he draws near, asking how you could possibly think of doing something so reckless. And as he pushes the dull side of the blade against my forearm hard enough to leverage the tip past the depth of the bondage, I wondered why he sounded so angry, saying that it was his turn to help. The spanking came later that night, after things had cooled down, after I had picked up the dozens of frayed pieces of string, when we both had calmed down enough for a bit of explanation. I was spanked for putting myself at risk, as I did, though I didn't know that it was risky at the time. I was just trying to do the right thing. I learned that night that cutting off the circulation was a thing, and that I'd never do it again, obviously. But I struggle with the larger lesson to this day, having slowly cut off my circulation trying to do the right thing. In fact, I feel I'm in the living room of the blue house now, wrapping, winding, binding myself up, waiting for someone or something to cut me loose. This new string I found during my first year in college was that the world was being laid to waste, poisoned and boiled right before our eyes. I thought I could help, so I started winding. I tugged on the loose and frayed end I found, and I began wrapping it about me. I followed it to find the other end, to see if I could pick up the whole thing, clean up the mess that I had found, reliving that day as a human spool. And so I followed the trail, going where it led, ditching my first program and staying an extra 2 years, spending massive amounts of time and care into learning everything I could about the state of the world and how I could mistakenly attempt to align schoolwork with this fascination I had with this string. I followed it to join organizations inside and outside of school, tightly winding it all about myself, about any part of myself I could, but it was cutting me off. I lost the circulation to whatever part of me feels comfort, resolve, happiness with family, friends, work, and school. I felt no satisfaction for anything except tugging on that string, endlessly following its every move as I became numb, narrow-sighted, feeling justified each step of the way, trying to do the right thing. In some sense, I'm right in my motive. The string doesn't belong where I found it. It has to be taken care of. But just like when I was a kid, my methods were off. It's difficult for me to admit to myself that the throbbing, sweltering, discolored pins and needles that I feel all over isn't worth my effort. I have trouble recognizing, perhaps because it's so slow or it happens so fast, that what I'm doing is not right, not the way I'm doing it anyway. This string is too big, too thick to be wrapped around anyone so tight. You think you're doing the right thing until you hurt yourself so bad that you can never help anything again. That is part of the lesson that I was supposed to learn so long ago, and I wish I did. But lessons like these are difficult to learn until it's almost too late, until your life turns out different, and you wonder why the people you love and look up to are yelling at you for the fear of your losing it all. Except now, with this new string I've cocooned myself in, it's not something others easily see. They yell at you to just breathe, but can't understand the sarcophagus. Nobody is running with a knife to sever me loose, ease the embrace. It was of my own doing, and my hands are tied. All I feel I can do is try to unravel the mess, spin myself around just enough to breathe, or enough to free a hand, and enough to cut the cord myself, and live with the dishevelment of my undoing, just to get my circulation back. Then I can return to picking up all the smaller pieces, one by one, just as I know I've always had to do. And by then, maybe I'll have another approach to where to put what I clean up, wrap it around something else that I can hold from a distance and see progress from afar. Hopefully then I won't be putting myself into danger, and yet can continue to do the right thing, to do what I know I have to do, but to do it right this time, and to really learn from my mistakes this time. Thanks, Mom and Dad.